So originally I wanted to talk about humanoid aliens and why they are so unlikely to exist in relation to the Predator movies, just because there's a new Predator movie out this week. However, that new one and also Predators saved themselves in that regard because we see wild animals from the Predator's planet and they are four-legged. And when you have four-legged animals, then a humanoid shape is kind of likely, although it's not the only option. And my point basically was, you have all these different shapes an intelligent creature could take, and you always go for the human because, let's be frank, it's cheap. And it's easy to do, to use a costume that just is a guy painted with, well, paint and have a funny hat on his head. But while thinking about this, I came across a far more interesting question that nobody seems to have asked yet about a predator. What exactly is it a predator of? What kind of predator is it? Because it sure is not your usual predator, and it sure is not hunting for big game. So what is it hunting? The yo yow yow. Could somebody get me an alien expert for pronunciation of this thing? Yes, there, you. Little guy. What is this word pronounced like?
Yautja.
And yes, Wicked is the expert here, so the way he pronounces it is the way it is to be pronounced. Who are you to doubt the opinion of an actual alien? Looking at this creature, I have good news. This seems to actually be a predator. I'm referring to the hands at the moment, which are the only visible feature where we can determine whether it's a predator or not, and it seems to have some kind of claws on his hand. Now, claws do not necessarily mean it's a predator or even a meat eater, because there's plenty of plant eaters that have those, but it is pretty useful for a predator, and we can assume that it has them for predatory purposes because, well, we'll give him some credit. But just from that we can't say what kind of predator it is. I mean, we can already tell the claws are not very big, and for really impressive feats like skewering a human, it has actual tools, machines for that, and is not using its natural claws, so these are clearly not made for larger prey. Where this becomes even more obvious is when we look at the head. This thing has mandibles, and mandibles are a really bad feature for a predator of large prey, because they're fragile. If this thing hunted large prey, it would have to deal with two really big problems with these mandibles. A, they would just break off because they're too fragile for that job. And B, even if they're not that fragile, say they are made of a special material or more dense bone than usual, they're still in a way. I mean, this thing has the teeth of a predator. It has pointy teeth, reptilian teeth, but if it ever wants to bite anything with it, the mandibles are in the way. It just can't jump down with those. So, what exactly is this kind of mouth useful for? And we can see with the predator's hounds that are shown in The Predator, it doesn't have any mandibles. Likely because that is an actual predator. This animal hunts large prey, and it doesn't have mandibles because they're just something that can get hurt, and they are in the way when trying to bite something. However, there is a possible use for these things. If the predator hunts small, slippery prey, then it could hold them with the mandibles while biting into its prey. So, what could that be? Well, if we're lucky, it's something like a rabbit or mice or rats, squirrels, little rodents, something like that. Maybe weasels. No, doesn't have to be rodents, but tiny animals. But the wiggly part makes it more probable that this is a predator of fish or worms. And yeah, that's not really impressive, is it? But on the other hand, humans are not predators either. We are only predators by our technology, and we are very fierce predators using our technology. And the same thing seems to be true for the Yautja. As a piece of good news, it's very unlikely the predator is a predator of fish or worms, as funny as that would be, because its eyes are completely useless for that. Infrared vision is only useful if your prey actually emits infrared light. And even more so, it's only useful over ground, because underground or underwater, the infrared would just get lost, even if the prey is warm-blooded, which is important because a so-called cold-blooded prey would not appear in infrared vision clearly enough and would have had it really easy to hide. So, next time you cower in fear because you see a Yautja, just remember, this is a predator of rabbits and mice and rats and weasels and not humans and not large animals. And also it has a name that lends itself to an Ewok joke. Yautja.
To many, it is modern-day folklore. To others, it is simply tabloid headlines. But to a select few, it is the ultimate reality. Intergalactic aliens have arrived on Earth. Now, they move among us. Only one top-secret elite group of trained professionals has the ability to detect these extraterrestrial beings. BAD, the Bureau of Alien Detectors. Led by Squadron Leader Sergeant Ben Packer, military war hero, Special Agent Shane Sanderson, life science expert, Moose Trenganu, alien encounter survivor, Colin Marcus, computer specialist, and Casey Taylor, psychic communicator. Together, they have only one mission: to confront, control, and contain all alien encounters. Together, they are BAD, the Bureau of Alien Detectors.